Hello guys, and welcome back to another cold episode. On today's episode, I think I may have found the counter deck to Runick. Now, I know what you're saying. What? It's just Tri-brigade. It's Tri-brigade Zodiac. We know this deck, like, this is a deck that everyone has seen. Yes, however, one thing that sets this deck apart from a lot of the other ones is how well it does specifically against Runick, while not compromising realistically anything against other decks. It's still able to play powerful going first and going second cards, while adding in additional just main deck staple options to out problematic, specifically Runick style boards. So let me quickly explain why. So first things first, the core advantage of this deck is the fact that it is able to play under a lot of floodgates, right? The fact that all of these are different types and different attributes means that you are able to go into a wide variety of different extra deck monsters and still be able to basically play the game under a wide variety of floodgates. And the fact that a lot of their stuff also activates in the graveyard while having high stats also means that you are able to punch over a lot of the dinky monsters that Runick summons, even under something like a skill drain, right? So, pretty nice. On top of that, the deck is fairly consistent. And I think one thing that a lot of people do not appreciate is how valuable hand traps are against Runick. Ash Blossom is absolutely a godsend. Being able to ash something like the field spell or the search for the field spell is just a game ender. If they go Hugin, pitch a card, and you ash that and they don't have any sort of follow-up, as in they don't have a spell and the fountain, they probably just die right there. Unless they're able to draw off of like a Pot of Desires or something along those lines. So honestly, Ash Blossom is super good. Also, a lot of these decks aren't playing Called By, so Ash is just absolutely killer. On top of that, Infip is also really good against that deck because it does the same thing that Ash does, at least when it comes to Hugin. Also, being able to negate something like the Gary or what have you that would want to try and recycle it means that you can just kind of shut down the opponent. Monster Effect Negation is honestly very valuable if you keep them on low resources, and one of the ways to keep them on low resources is through the big blowout cards such as Lightning Storm, Harpy's Feather Duster, Zeus, and even Shureg, which is all of these are insane value for you because all of them basically do the same thing. They are just incredible ways to non-target remove your opponent's cards, which with Munin being able to protect from targeting, it's really good to have non-target ways to deal with something like Fountain or other such set cards. So, cool. On top of that, even if they do have something like the zero attack monster, I literally just Hugin, yes, not Monin, Hugin, that one. If they have Hugin, Shureg, the main combo piece for this archetype, banishes non-targeting, meaning they can't do anything. It banishes, and it doesn't target. Two of the best options of removal against this deck in particular. Now, granted, things like Maxi aren't really going to be helpful, but Maxi is absolutely advantageous against a lot of other decks. Obviously, the Nibiru is in here for other decks as well, and when we put all of this together, we get a very cohesive deck that has a good out against a lot of the Runick options, is able to play under a lot of different floodgates and different slow-paced styles, and is able to put out quite a bit. Now, the part that makes this really powerful is in fact the Zodiac engine, allowing you to go into Zeus, but more importantly, Trident. Trident having just that simple pop one face-up card is actually really good, because that means that if your opponent goes and flips a floodgate, you can immediately deal with it. On top of that, if they decide to go for Fountain before they have Hugin on their side of the field, you can go Trident and pop it. They would have to have an additional follow-up of another quick play spell to protect the Fountain, which means that they're not getting the value out of that quick play spell, basically meaning that the Hugin and the rest of those cards are more or less useless. Even though, sure, the Fountain may stick around, they would need to have so many more cards, and at that point, it's still worth it, and you can make a Trident with multiple materials, meaning that you could potentially pop it on a following turn as well, meaning that they'd have to invest more into defending that card. So, all in all, Trident alone is a really good way to out that pesky field spell. As for the rest of the deck, it's just pretty consistent. You're able to go into the Shureg, you're able to do your standard combos, ending on things like an Apollosa. I actually used Apollosa's 3 negates during a duel against Runick. I'll show you that in a little. But yeah, honestly, just having so many hand traps, having the ability to consistently slow down your opponent, and having a consistent deck that is able to put out a non-targeting banish is really good. And just the fact that you are able to have so much advantage off of activating like a Revolt and going into this card, and being able to chain block and all of this stuff, really cool. Also, little interaction I wanted to explain. Trident can also pop your own face-up cards, meaning if they target it to negate its effect, you can just deal with your own Shureg and make sure that the thing gets banished, whatever you may want to banish. Really cool. It also turns off their own banishing effect to banish the cards from the top of your deck. So, awesome. Let's hop into some duels and show you how this deck actually performs against Runick. Alright, so here we are actually going second, but notably we drew 2 really powerful hand traps for us, and it's 2 that we are maxing out on. We drew Ash Blossom and we drew Infib. So my opponent is going to start with Dispelling in order to go into Hugin, and Hugin is going to pitch the Duality. This means that they probably have something else in hand, but honestly, that doesn't matter. They're down 2 cards with just the single Imperm. That is great for us, especially against a control deck that wants to just outpace you and just like slow down the duel. So we are going to draw Max C. That's not really the greatest, but my opponent is going to go for Runick Freeze Curse. That's fine. They're going to banish a few things. We're going to get this Rescue Cat just off of the field so that it is in the graveyard. Yes, its effect is negated, but that's fine. We do have the Kairos, so now we can pitch the Nerval and go for Kairos. I'm going to put the Kairos in attack position. Normally I put it in defense, but I do need to be able to deal with this Hugin. So we're going to then search out the kit and activate our Kairos. Oh, my opponent sees the writing on the wall and concedes. Just that single Imperm really put us very far ahead, and the fact that we can get that cat off of the field as well means that we can still make our plays. And also the fact that we can go into another Earth monster on top of having Kairos also be an Earth could have also potentially been a problem. Alright, so here we are going first, and I'm not gonna lie, this hand is not the greatest until we see our actual opponent. But I'm going to basically do my full combo. We are going to dump with Foolish Burial the Kit. Kit will send the Nerval. Nerval will then search out our Fractal. Fractal allows us to get as much names in our graveyard as possible, so that's why I went for this one. Realistically, probably shouldn't have though. It doesn't really matter though. We are going to go into our Bearbrum, into our Rugal, and then we're going to activate the Bearbrum to search out Revolt and send back the Lightning Storm. Now notably, this Revolt can't actually get our Shureg, which is a bit problematic, but it's still very good because we can dump the Kit and we can dump the Nerval and then go into a Ferrigit and we can special summon back with the Rugal and then go from there. So it's not the end of the world, but it's still not the greatest. However, what we do have is pretty nice. We have a Droplet, we have an Infib, and we have a Revolt. My opponent is going to activate Reasoning. This is a really weird build. I don't know why they're playing Reasoning in this build. But okay. Actually, I do know why, and you'll see it here in a second. So they're going to dump a few cards. Summon Limit, sure. Runick Slumber, and Royal Magical Library. I called 8 because I was like, oh, there's a chance that they're playing, like, I don't know, some sort of 8 spam deck. I feel like 8 just seems to be the call. I don't know why, but yeah. Out comes Royal Magical Library, sure. I'm going to activate my Revolt here because I think that I could go into Shureg. That's my mistake, but that's fine. We still just get the advantage that we need. I'm actually going to go for the Kit and the Fractal so that I can keep the Nerval banished just in case I need to. And then we can go for our Kit here to send the Nerval, and Nerval can then search. We do have Harpy's Feather Duster, so I'm still feeling pretty good about this, and yeah, there's that. My opponent is going to go and activate the second Reasoning, because Reasoning is for some reason not limited. And then they are going to go and activate the Flashing Fire. They're going to negate the effect, or sorry, they're going to pop our Rugal, so I'm going to try and bring a monster back. Then they're going to go for Runick Dispelling, going to special summon a monster from the extra deck. Okay, whew. If they had hit our Harpy's Feather Duster here, that would have been really, really bad. We probably lose there. But the fact that they are special summoning is great for us. So they are going to go for their Hugin here, and we are going to special summon out our Nerval. They're going to pop our Rugal. That's fine. Banishing the Thoroughblade there. They're going to go and activate their Runick Fountain, and they are also going to go for the Hugin here. At this point, I have a decision to make. So I can either negate the Royal Magical Library here, or I can negate the Hugin. Technically, I can negate both with the Infib, but I kind of want to keep this for the following turn so that I can negate the Hugin to go and activate our Harpy's Feather Duster and make sure that it goes through. So I do kind of have to think about it in that way, where I do need to be able to basically deal with this Hugin in order for this Harpy's Feather Duster to go off. So I decided to actually negate the Royal Magical Library. The reason I negate this is because I don't want them to draw cards, and just like negating it now, snipping this in the bud is probably the right call. Sure, they get their second Runick Fountain, but honestly, okay, sure. Yeah, you got it. They're gonna go and activate Terraforming. Of course, they draw the Terraforming off of the top. So now they get another Runick Fountain, and they are going to activate their second Runick Fountain in order to go for more plays. They're going to banish 3 more of our cards, and then they're going to shuffle 3 more of their cards into the deck to draw 3 more. Okay, not really a lot that I can do there. They're going to set 1 card and pass the turn. Okay, I'm feeling like I can do this. Droplets is pretty mediocre here, but that's fine. We are going to go and imperm the Hugin, and then we are going to Harpy's Feather Duster away the field. Yes, this is how this works. Yes, I do know that it banishes for cost, but guess what? Its effects are negated, so it cannot banish for cost because it doesn't have that effect. It's just negated. That's how that works. I know it's weird, but yeah. The reason I know this is because it doesn't work under skill drain. Anyway, we are going to special summon out our Karos. I don't know why I put it at the link point, but I do. Anyway, we are now going to go into Shureg. Shureg is then going to banish, that's right, the Royal Magical Library. I hear you asking, why are we banishing the Royal Magical Library instead of banishing the Hugin? Well, because we could just walk over the Hugin, and now we can deal quite a bit more damage, so that was the play. Yeah, this puts them on a significantly lower clock, which is very important here. We're then going to link all of those off for Appaloosa for 2 reasons. 1, Shureg, which is going to activate here, and 2, Fetishi. We get both of these, meaning we can shuffle away this Droplet to potentially get something better. Ash Blossom is great, and then we are also going to be able to search the follow-up, and I'm actually going to search Thoroughblade here. This isn't the greatest search. Realistically, I should have searched something like a Ram, but it honestly doesn't matter too much. Because the material that we have underneath it will just eventually go away, because we are going to go into Tiger Mortar here, and then we are going to go into a Choconine, which will then go into a Dryden. So Dryden is really good. I've previously mentioned this, just due to the fact that it is able to pop a card, so that is basically the plan here. So my opponent is going to proceed, and out comes the Pot of Duality. I'm going to let this go. I don't really care too much, and I see Tip, and Tikaboo. So obviously they're going to grab the Tip. At this point, I just need to negate the Runick Tip with the Ash Blossom. I know that the Runick Fountain is coming out. Now, if they're smart, they activate the effect of one of their quick play spells in order to special summon out a Hugin, which would then be able to banish itself to protect the fountain. I don't know if they know that, but hey, you know, I'm gonna do this, try and pop the fountain. It goes through. Now they have literally no fountains, so they have to get it back with something like a Jerry. So, you know, if we negate that with something like an Appaloosa, we should be good. Anyway, out comes the Runick Tip to search. We're going to negate that. Out comes Card of Demise, because of course they have that. They're gonna set another 3 cards and pass. I'm feeling really scared here, but we still have the Dryden, so if they flip up some sort of floodgate, we are still able to just send it away. Anyway, we're going to go to battle here. All that I care about is that this Trident is able to connect, because if this Trident connects, we can slap down on our Ram a Borbo, and then on top of that, we can slap a Zeus and wipe the field from whatever we need. So I'm okay with using the Trident effect here. I'm okay with using all of the Appaloosa negates here. So that is the play that I'm going for. Out comes the Jerry. That's totally okay. They're going to activate the effect to grab back their Runick Fountain. I say nay, not allowed. I am going to negate that. That goes through. Okay, fantastic. I am going to then just attack in, and guess what? Thoroughblade allows me to pierce, so I'm going to deal an extra 6. That doesn't matter, because honestly, it just doesn't do anything. They're going to try and pop with their Jerry. I'm going to negate that again. Appaloosa coming in clutch, because it says negate the activation, not negate the effect. And we are going to attack in with the Appaloosa. Out comes Destruction. They're going to special summon the Jerry. We are going to negate the Jerry with our Appaloosa once again. Yes, all 3 negates were used on basically 2 monsters, but 2 Garys. So that's very nice. We're just going to go to main phase 2. Our Trident has connected, which means now we can go into the Borbo, which could then go into Zeus. They go for the Runick Smithing Storm. I see this and I'm like, I don't want you to banish 3 cards, so I'll just pop my Appaloosa. It's not doing anything. My opponent sees that this is happening, realizes that the game is over because I can go into Zeus, and concedes. If I go Zeus there, I wipe the field. They have to draw, like, I don't even know if they could draw anything realistically that would really get them into the game. but I just attack if they don't have a quick play spell, and I kill them. So alright, and here we are going first once again. Obviously, we want to go first with this deck in general, so yeah, there's that. We're going to go for the Kit here. Kit will go for the Almirage, and the Kit will send the Nerval to the grave. Nerval will then search up our Karos. Karos will then special summon itself in order to, by pitching the Nerval, and then we will activate its effect in order to banish 2 to go for the Ferigi. Ferigi will then special summon out the Thoroughblade, which will then allow us to pitch the Ram, and we grab Foolish Burial. It's not the greatest, but okay. We're going to go for the Chalkanine here, and we are going to special summon back the Ram so that we can use it later for an additional summon. We're then going to go into the Trident here, and then we are going to go for the Bearbrum and activate the effect. Okay, it doesn't really matter what we're doing here, but yeah, we're going to go into the Rugal here and activate the Bearbrum, search out the Revolt, set 1, and pass. Now, notably, this seems like we can't actually activate the Nerval to go into Shureg, but we did actually link summon the Bearbrum, instead of summoning it off of the effect of one of our Tri-brigades. So we can summon this because it was summoned properly. So we can bring this out. It will count as 2 link materials, and then we are able to go into the Shureg. So that's pretty good. We have the Trident, we have a Maxi, which could matter. We have Almirage, which could protect our monsters if we need to, and we have the Revolt and Rugal to potentially bring back something like a Ram or what have you. So my opponent proceeds. They are going to normal summon Alistair. I know what Alistair does, so obviously I'm going to Maxi here. They're going to activate Dispelling in order to special summon out their Munin, which is interesting. So they don't go for Hugin here, which is rather interesting. The reason that it's interesting is due to the fact that if they had gone Hugin, they wouldn't have had... they most likely wouldn't have had the field spell. So them going Munin means that they most likely have the field spell, and they're trying to protect against the Trident. So at this point, I'm like, okay, that's pretty standard, but we have Revolt. We can go into the Shureg. We can banish the Fountain. It doesn't really matter. We're just going to do that instead of using our Trident. They also go for Allure here, which is funny, I guess. I don't know why this is a thing, but okay. So we are going to go and special summon out our Bearbrum, our Nerval, and our Kit, and we are going to link all of those away into a Shureg. We're going to chain block all of these with, so Shureg, Nerval, Kit. They are going to activate the effect of the Freezing Curse in order to negate the effect, and this is where Trident comes in. Trident can now pop our Shureg, and we get to banish their Fountain nonetheless. We also get to search the Fractal. Out, away goes the Fountain, and remember, they are under Max C. And at this point, my opponent realizes that the game can't really be won because we banished their Fountain, so they concede. Alright, so realistically, is this the counter to Runick? No, if you really wanted to counter the deck, you'd play like Anti-Spell Fragrance and stuff like that. But is this a deck that is good against Runick and is good against a lot of the metagame, can go first and go second, and has a good time just overall in the current state of Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel? Yes. And that, I think, is one of the reasons to play this deck. This is also me just kind of pushing Tri-brigade on more people. I think Tri-brigade is a little overlooked right now. It is still definitively one of the best decks. It is definitely top tier. I think this version of the deck is one of the best, if not the best right now. I think the Tri-brigade Lyrilisk or more pure Tri-brigade variants just don't really work as well, especially since Zeus right now in the current metagame against things like Runick, against things like Pendulum, against the things like Branded is just a godsend. So yeah, having access to this is Pog. So yeah, that's basically it for my list. I hope that you guys did indeed enjoy. If you did, a like is very much so appreciated, and if you want to check out more content like this as well as more Yu-Gi-Oh, then just be sure to subscribe. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching, and remember to always stay frosty. Bye-bye. Shout out to the Frost Guard, my members. Thank you guys so much for the support, and I hope you enjoy the content.